Let's give you a pull here through the tunnel. Today we're in a 2006 Mitsubishi Eclipse GT. That's the 4th generation. We're powered by a 3.8 liter naturally aspirated V6 single overhead cam 24 valve MIVEC, making 263 horsepower, 260 pound-feet of torque. But with the mods the owner Dylan has done, we're making 280 horsepower and 270 pound-feet of torque. It is front-wheel drive only. You gotta remember the 4th gen and the 3rd gen were only front-wheel drive. It was the 1st and 2nd gen that had all-wheel drive as options. There's no LSD. We have a 6-speed manual transmission, frost white pearl exterior. This is actually the base trim, so it's the lightest option. You don't have a subwoofer, no heated seats, and no sunroof. But it still is on the heavier side, especially for 2006. We're weighing around 3,400 pounds. Now, in terms of mods, we have Evo X wheels wrapped in 245 section with PS4S in the front and Pilot Sport 3s in the rear. Godspeed coilovers, upgraded brake pads, rotors, and stainless steel brake lines with .4 fluid. Now, if you're modding these cars, you have to do the motor mounts. Otherwise, you're going to run into some catastrophic issues with reliability. So the owner added front and rear polyurethane motor mounts and an aluminum trans mount. And now to help with the downshift speed, he also added a CP Racing engine torque dampener mount. We have an intake, catback, carbon fiber hood, radiator, and front strut bar. Full mod list, as always, is down in the description. And in case you're wondering, because it's so windy outside, that's where we're starting this review already in the car for your audio pleasure. Dude, everything about this just has massive throws. It's like very much from yesteryear, because look at how high this handbrake goes. It's like 60-degree vertical, maybe even more than that, maybe 70-degree vertical. Really funny. In terms of seating position and interior, like this is definitely, it feels like a cheaper Japanese car from 2006, right? It's not fooling anyone. There's no telescoping, but we do get tilts to the steering wheel, which is nice. And it is pretty far out. It's obviously an interior that is designed for a shorter stature. At 6'1", it is not optimal. Even the clutch throw is super long, very gradual bite point. Got that fuel cut off right around 6,600 RPM. The owner says, beat on it, go hard. Very, very light hydraulic steering. Not getting much information through the road. Very slow steering ratio as well. Look how much I need to turn the wheel just to get around these bends. The throws even to the manual transmission are super long. Pretty light, but you have that notchiness between gates, a bit of slop. These are the kinds of cars that are really cheap. I think he bargained this down. The asking price was like $8K. He got it for less than $4. Great negotiating skills there. And when you have these cheap cars that you throw a few mods on, you can just beat on them, have a lot of fun, and not really worry too much about them. There's a certain level of freedom and liberation you have, with it also being less than 300 horsepower and weighing 3,400 pounds. The power to weight ratio is very manageable, although you can feel this car is very front heavy. I'm not sure what the weight distribution is, but I would bet it is quite far forward, with a very far forward polar moment of inertia as well, which means that when you're pushing the car in these corners, you sense that it wants to push and it doesn't want to change directions, but it'll obey your command. And when you get on the brakes, it's more like a suggestion that the car decides whether or not it wants to listen, because you have to push at least like 2 inches before you even get a little bit of slowdown. The initial bite is super soft, tons of travel to the brake pedal. Right there, getting on throttle mid-corner, you can feel it wanting to start pushing. As I get on the brakes, I can feel the seat is not totally firm in place. There's a little bit of shifting even in the seat back, going forward and back as you brake and accelerate. And with cars like this, you can really just rag on them, push them hard, because they're not going to really surprise you and get out from under you and bite you, you know what I mean? Even the pedal spacing here, because the brakes have such a long throw, by the time you get into the brakes and you try to rotate your foot for a heel toe, you're now just jabbing the side of the throttle pedal because you're too far deep with the brakes. I'm not sure if it's due to like the engine mounts or maybe something with the dampener, but when you downshift, it's actually very unforgiving if you don't get it exactly right. Actually, even when you do get it pretty spot on, you can feel the kind of like a bit of a clunking and a bit of like a friction. This is a car that if I owned, it would challenge me to want to perfect each and every downshift because it's a lot harder to master compared to many other cars. There we go. Now we got the heel toe. Oh, getting a lot of shuddering on braking. That's likely pad deposit, possibly even rotor warping. Now, even with the coilovers here, it's pretty softly sprung, and we're getting a good amount of body roll. This is obviously a car that's optimized for street, not for track. And I think this car, it's totally fine here on the canyons. These are a little bit higher speed sweepers, but I think this would really shine on something a little bit tighter, a little bit more technical, where you don't feel like it's lacking power as much. And here I wouldn't say that it's slow, just a little bit below what you may be used to in modern day. You know, 280 horsepower, 3,400 pounds. I feel like getting 300 horsepower or up and 3,000 pounds or below is the sweet spot. Okay, or just cut me off like that when you're on a bike. Smart move. It's always interesting to me when you get behind the wheel of a car and you can very quickly tell what era it's from, and the inputs really tell you that. It's not even, you can obviously just look at the dash, the interior, and get a feel, but when the inputs tell you, hey, I'm from the aughts, right? The 2000s, based on just how long my throws are, based on how the steering feels, because it's very light, and a lot of hydraulic racks from this era were very light. With the slow ratio, the longer throws, even the pedal box here, all the inputs there from the clutch, the brake, and the throttle, they have these longer throws. They're a little bit more sluggish. This obviously wasn't a razor sharp sports car, so they didn't optimize things like the weight distribution. And you can feel the front end resist you, that inertia, as you turn the wheel. It says, no, I want to keep going straight. But then it eventually makes up its mind and it follows you along. Let's give you a pull here through the tunnel. The window's cracked. Couldn't see the tach there in the dark, so I had to rely on the rev limiter to actually guide me on those upshifts. Sorry, little Eclipse. The throttle, but you got to jab it a bit harder. Everything's a bit like, I shouldn't say higher effort, because higher effort is normally heavy and you got to push hard, right? But just longer actuation with everything. Feels a little bit underdamped. I'm getting excess up and down motion over some of these bumps. One more pull through this tunnel. Man, a lot of these motorcyclists feel like daredevils today. A lot of them crossing the double yellows and such. Be safe out there, guys. And there you have it, 2006 Mitsubishi Eclipse. Big shout out to the owner, Dylan, for letting me review his car. If you want your car reviewed, visit us on jabalandcars.com. Much love, my friends, and I'll see you all in that next one.